cringe every time somebody attempts to dispute their credit report online. And I mean, I get why they do it. It's convenient, it's fast, and it's easy. And we do so many things online. We do online and mobile banking. We do online everything. So you just naturally assume that doing things online is going to be the best way to go about them. But it's not. In fact, submitting your dispute online is probably the worst thing that you can do when you're attempting to do credit repair. Now, it's true that disputing your report online is convenient, and yes, you do get the results fast. But those fast results are only beneficial if they're the results that you want. The chances of you actually getting those results that you want online are slim to none, and I'll go into the reasons why that is later on in this video. Not only that, but you're actually giving up a lot of your rights by submitting these online requests. The rules and the laws that dictate how companies have to respond and what your rights are different if you submit requests online. Don't believe me? Let's take a look. So anyone that's done any kind of credit repair knows that there is 3 credit bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And so the first step for a lot of people in doing the credit repair journey is to log into one of these credit websites and pull their credit report. And it makes sense, right? I mean, how can you dispute your credit report if you don't even know what's on your credit report? And these 3 companies are the ones that generate that credit report for you, so it just makes sense to go and talk to these guys to pull your credit report. But in order to pull your credit report from any of these companies, you first have to log into their website. And that seems very innocent, right? Just put in your username and password. But remember that terms of service, that end user license agreement that you had to agree to when you created your account with these 3 credit bureaus? Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about. The one with the page after page of legal mumbo jumbo in fine print that, let's be real, you didn't read. Believe it or not, there's some important stuff in there, and you blindly accepted it when you created your account with these 3 credit bureaus. So if you've already signed up with these companies, you have already permanently thrown away some of your rights. Because buried within that user agreement is a clause that essentially says that you permanently waive your right to sue that company. You can't do it. Instead, you agree to binding forced arbitration. And so essentially what forced arbitration is instead of suing them, they get this impartial third-party mediator to come in and hear both sides of the story, and that mediator is the one that's going to assign any sort of damages, if any. And if you don't like the results of that mediation, tough luck. That's what binding forced mediation means. The results of that mediation is binding. It is final. So while it's possible that you may still get a little bit of money out of this process, it's not going to be anywhere near as much money as if you had actually taken them to court and sued them. And how do I know that you're not going to get as much money? Well, it's easy, and it's just common sense. Look, these credit bureaus aren't dumb. They put that clause in there for a reason. And the reason is they know that it's cheaper, significantly cheaper, for them to go through arbitration than it is to get sued. Now, I would never recommend just going around and filing lawsuits, but as a consumer, you do have rights. You have the right to sue Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion for mishandling your information. And so by giving up the right to sue these companies, you're giving away some of your bargaining chips. They no longer realistically need to abide by the rules near as much because their risk is now significantly lower. They can't get sued. Now, yes, you can technically opt out of this binding arbitration, but you have to write them a letter within 30 days of opening your account, basically opting out of this arbitration clause. And the letter has to have some very specific items in there, or even they're going to throw that letter out. And then you got to keep that letter on file basically forever, because if you did want to sue them, the first thing that you would have to do is prove in court that you're eligible to sue them, that you did in fact opt out of this clause. But then needing to physically write a letter to opt out of something so that you can submit something online kind of defeats the whole purpose. So instead, I highly suggest that you never create an account with these 3 credit bureaus. It just simplifies the process. So I actually recommend that you go and get your credit report online for free once per year from annualcreditreport.com. This website is the official website as dictated by federal law, where once per year you can get your credit report for free. But currently, with coronavirus going around ravaging the nation financially speaking, there's a lot of financial problems that have been creeping in, and so now they are currently offering a free credit report once per week until April of 2021. So take full advantage of that. This way you can still get access to your credit report, the same credit reports that you would get from logging into Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, but now you don't have to worry about those 3 companies' stupid end user license agreement, their terms of service, and so you can still sue those companies at any point you want, retaining your rights. And the next problem with submitting a dispute online, besides the fact that by simply creating an account with these guys, you have permanently waived your right to sue. The next problem is online submissions are just simply handled differently as far as the rules and the federal laws go that protect you as a consumer. So we're going to be talking about the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, 611, Item A, Paragraph 8. Now, the Fair Credit Reporting Act is very important. This is your consumer rights. So in that regards, I highly suggest that you actually go online and read some of these sections in detail because they are important. But I'm just going to kind of go over some of the highlights. So as you can see, this paragraph 8 that I'm talking about in the FCRA is talking about expedited dispute processes, which this online submission is an expedited dispute process. So as you can see, that as long as the company rules in your favor and removes that negative item off of your credit report within 3 business days, they don't have to follow certain rules and regulations. They don't have to follow the rules in paragraphs 2, 6, and 7. And you might be saying, well, who cares if they don't have to follow all the rules? They've already removed that negative item off of my account, so what's the big deal? Well, what are items 2, 6, and 7? What rules are they not having to follow? So right off the bat, this paragraph 2 that they don't have to follow is essentially saying that they don't have to forward your dispute to the creditor that is actually saying that you owe them money or that you are late with money. So let's say, for example, that you had a 90-day late payment on your Wells Fargo credit card and you were trying to dispute that. Now, if they remove that within 3 business days, that essentially means that they don't have to contact Wells Fargo and say that they have removed that item from your credit report. Now let's stop and think about this for a minute. First off, they have 3 days to take it off of your credit report. What kind of investigation do you think they're realistically doing in 3 days? They're not. They're simply running your information through some database, and whatever that database spits out, that's their answer. But beyond that, this paragraph 2 says that if they remove it, then they don't have to tell Wells Fargo that they removed it. They don't have to forward your dispute and get Wells Fargo's side of the story. So realistically, maybe they remove this item from your credit report, but then 30 days passes and Wells Fargo then resubmits the next batch, the next round of information to the 3 credit bureaus. And once again, that 90-day late period is once again reported to all of these credit bureaus and once again pops up on all of your credit. So even though you thought you got this taken care of and resolved and it was taken off your credit, realistically it's probably popping back up in 30 days or less because they didn't have to verify with Wells Fargo. The next rule that these credit bureaus don't have to follow if you submit online is that they don't have to provide you with any written results. They can just tell you the results over the phone. And once again, this over-the-phone results is great if it's in your favor, but what if it's not? How are you supposed to go back and resubmit and reattack this to get the results that you want? Anyone that's serious about credit repair knows that the overwhelming majority of your results are going to come from the second, the third, and the fourth time that you submit and dispute with these credit bureaus. It takes time. It takes back and forth. You have to find out what information that they're using. How did they verify this particular negative item? And then you got to go and find out and attack the information that they supposedly verified. So it's sort of this back and forth process. So if they don't give you any written information and any written details, then how are you supposed to go back and fight that a second time? Because whatever it is that you're trying to fight, you got to be able to first prove. And that leads into topic number 3 of why you should never file a dispute online, is that they just simply have to give you the results over the phone. They don't have to give you any real details. They don't have to give you how they verified that information. And once again, if they don't tell you how they verified it, then how are you supposed to fight it again? Because if they tell you in writing that they used company XYZ, the reports that they generated, to verify this negative item on your account, and then if you go to company XYZ and you look at that report and you find all kinds of errors in that, and then you can go back and fight with the credit bureaus, because you can say, look, you supposedly verified this negative item through this particular report, but this particular report is garbage and it's full of errors, and here's the list of problems. So you verified my account by using an inaccurate report. As such, you need to please remove this negative item off of my account. But if you can't prove any of that stuff, if you can't prove the method of verification, and if you have nothing documented in writing, then you're stuck. You have no way to go back and fight the good fight if they don't give you the type of results that you're after. So that's why you should never submit a credit dispute online. You want to retain as many of your rights as possible. You want to retain all of those consumer rights that are granted to you by federal law. Don't give up that stuff, because that just puts the ball in their court. You should always file a dispute via certified mail. That way you have proof that not only you submitted a dispute for this particular topic, but now they are required to send you written documentation in return, which will then provide you with that proof that you need to go for rounds 2, 3, and 4 to resubmit and reattack this particular item and eventually get it removed. If you found this video useful, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Give the video a thumbs up. It really helps the YouTube algorithm and helps channels like this grow. And as always, I'll see you all again next time. Thanks.